Here's the thing. I'm lucky. I get the opportunity through my work to meet with and work in hundreds of Australian schools. And it leaves me with, I guess, something of a pulse check that I can trust about what's going on in Australian schools. It isn't news that too many Australian schools are facing a student behaviour challenge and crisis at the moment. And it shouldn't come as any great surprise to you that that challenge isn't getting easier to handle. I do, though, through the privilege of working with those schools, have a bit of a framework that I'm testing and that I'm currently adapting, refine all the time, that I think is valuable. It sort of works school leaders through four key kind of respectful phases. Respectful of the challenges that you do face and how you found yourself here. The first phase is in some ways a bit of a post-mortem. It's a bit of a look at how we got here. It's a bit of a look at how things went wrong. And why is it that approaches that have been reliable in the past are no longer fit for purpose in a contemporary Australian school? How are they falling short? The second examination, which reveals a little bit of the answer to number one, is around today's young people who are growing and developing in an environment that is changing more rapidly than any environment that certainly any old people like me grew up in human history. And that is creating them differently, and our approaches need to be able to, I guess, respond to the changing nature and variety of our young people. When we're armed with that information, what went wrong and what is the challenge in front of us, then we can actually start to get real about what it is that we need to do. What are the changes that we need to make? What are the frameworks that we need to adopt? What's the language? What is the thinking? What are the mindsets? What are the conduct shifts as teachers that we need to deploy in order to change the circumstances to fit the current reality? And then the final thing that we need to look at is how you embed that in your school as a matter of habit, ritual, and normalcy. And so what I'm going to be doing is unpacking these four key phases for you and the way that they work in your school in a pretty simple, a pretty between the eyes, if you don't mind, 1 hour webinar. Somewhere around this video is the opportunity for you to register for that webinar. I think you'll find it thought-provoking. I think you might even find it engaging. You might even smirk or smile from time to time. We could all do with a little bit of that. But most of all, I think you'll find something relevant in it, and I really hope you'll join me.